This is Arie Ogunbowale, and you're listening to the Soaring Wings Show.
Hey fans, thank you for tuning in to the Soaring Wings Show on the W-insidr podcast network. My name is Arie Graham at WNBA Love on Twitter and at WNBA_Love on Instagram.
Hey guys, this is Dorothy J. Gentry on Twitter and on Instagram, and glad you guys are here.
Welcome back, girl. We missed you last week.
Thank you so much. I was out, but I am back, ready to talk a little Dallas Wings basketball.
All right, so the season is winding down.
Yep.
Winding down. We're down to the last few games. And Arie continues her assault on the WNBA record books. Let's talk a little bit about her performance Saturday night.
Wow, that was something else. And again, you know, I've tweeted this out and I've said this to anybody who would listen. You have to really go and see her game in person. You just have to at least once to really fully appreciate what she brings to the table. But just Saturday night alone, you know, that they were down 23 points to the Mystics at home. Of course, the Mystics being the number one team, you know, in the league, but they didn't give up. And Arie, in particular, she led the way. She had a game-high 30 points. With that 30 points, she joined A'ja Wilson as the only other rookie in WNBA history to have 3 30-point games. The only other one, of course, A'ja being last year's Rookie of the Year. She was also the third rookie to ever have dropped 30 or more in back-to-back outings. She had 35, tied her season high, and then 30. So she had 3 30 or more games back-to-back. Third rookie in WNBA history for that. Then she extended her WNBA rookie record of 8 consecutive games with at least 20 points. Who scored 20 or more points 8 times in a row? And then Saturday's game also marked the 15th time that she has passed the 20-point mark. She was playing the Mystics with, of course, MVP candidate Elena Delle Donne, and happened to that same night tie Elena for 10th most points during a rookie season. Mm-hmm. This was all just Saturday night, everybody. And she's also learning to be more efficient as far as getting others involved and passing the ball and whatnot, because she handed out 7 assists on Saturday night, tying her career high. I think she's the Rookie of the Year.
Period. Just like that.
I think she's the Rookie of the Year.
Now, I just want to put this out here, guys. Like, things have been getting a little heated online as far as the Rookie of the Year debate. Yeah. You know, both young ladies, we've said this for the past couple of weeks, have been doing a phenomenal job.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's not any shade towards any player.
It's not.
You know, we can debate peacefully online. We just don't have to come at each other's throats. Like, it's basketball, guys. It's all fun.
Right.
And the exciting thing about it is that there hasn't been this much debate surrounding the Rookie of the Year race in a long time. And it's good to have that conversation amongst fans online to, you know, get that attention up. But you got to take it easy.
Exactly. And, you know, and we appreciate, you know, you guys sharing your comments and your thoughts and everything online. But, you know, as Arie said, you know, it's basketball. You know, I know there's a lot of emotion, and it's your team and your player and all of that, you know, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of other things that are a little bit more important. But again, I think that she is the Rookie of the Year for a number of reasons which I've written about in The Athletic and my stories on Arie and the Wings, of which I've tweeted about, posted about, you know, just the load, you know, that she's carrying. Her, you know, her efficiency with what she's being asked to do, playing out of position, just so much. There's just so many specific reasons why I believe she's Rookie of the Year. And then Cappie Pondexter, who Arie has been, I guess you could say, compared to since draft night, chimed in the other day on Instagram. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
And that went pretty viral quickly as well. And Let me just quickly read Cappie's post from Instagram. She said, "There hasn't been one explosive guard like me, but it's safe to say Arie Ogunbowale is it. Everyone talking about Rookie of the Year. Arie is doing such an unbelievable job this year while making it look easy. She's a small guard, shooting guard, asked to be a point guard, getting double, triple teamed all of while hanging with BG, Brittany, and EDD, Elena, and points per game. She's got a lot of onlys. Only rookie with multiple 35-point games in the history of the league. Only rookie ever to score 20-plus points in at least 7 consecutive games. Only person in the WNBA under 6'2", averaging 17 points per game, and tied with DeWanna Bonner for most assists per game among players, scoring at least 16 points per game, too. She's an elite WNBA player right now as a rookie, and she should be Rookie of the Year." That was from Cappie Pondexter, whom everyone has compared Arie to since draft night. What are your thoughts?
I agree with Cappie. And, I mean, she's not the only one. You got Skylar Diggins-Smith backing her up. Like, there's multiple players. Her coach, Muffin McGraw, is backing her up as well, saying that she should be Rookie of the Year. And, yeah, you might say that these particular people have bias as far as Diggins-Smith and her former coach, Muffin McGraw. But what about Cappie Pondexter? She has no
skin in the game.
Yeah, no skin in the game. She's retired. She's, sitting back, taking a look, and she sees that the talent that Arie has showcased this season should cement her Rookie of the Year status. Now, again, Nafisa's been having an outstanding year.
Yes, she has.
And she has her certain set of onlys in different categories.
That's true.
So, I mean, I'm glad I'm not having to cast a vote or make a decision.
Yeah.
But I know that for me, it would be Arie Ogunbowale.
And I think that her performance just this year, cements her status, not just as Rookie of the Year, but she's going to be a star in this league. People are going to want to play with her.
Yeah. Like, I think that she should have been an all-star this year.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that we're going to see her as an all-star going forward. Definitely by 2021. There won't be an all-star game next year in 2020. But by 2021, she's all-star, probably MVP. We just got to see. Like, her future is very, very bright.
Yes.
And, I mean, she's listed at 5'8". I don't think she's 5'8".
I know.
But she's been balling.
Yes, she has
has been balling. 2, 3, 4 defenders. It don't matter. She knows how to create her own shot. She knows where to get that ball off the backboard to make sure it goes in. Like, she could take it in. She hit you with the outside shot. Yep. It's wild.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, her game is exciting. Her game is very exciting.
Right. All right. So, I mean, I'm glad that we've had someone like her. It's crazy that she's had to carry such a load as a rookie. Yeah. But, she's been doing it. And the Wings have gone through a lot of hardship this season with the injuries. Matter of fact, they were granted an injury hardship and were able to sign Carly Samuelson, who we got a little look at Saturday night against the Mystics. You have Arie with her foot surgery. Yes. It's only her second year in the league. So what do you think that says about Arie's future?
Man, I don't know. I don't think that she knew, I guess it was going to be as bad as this. She did play a couple of games this season, toward the beginning, and then she sat out a little bit, and then, she had been in practice and was working through it. And we got updates from the president and from the coach saying that, she was rehabbing. And then finally they ended up shutting her down, for the season, just saying that, she wasn't really, wasn't responding to the treatments and whatnot. So, and then all of a sudden the surgery comes about a couple of weeks ago. So, you don't really know what to think right now. I know that she wants to be out there. I know that, she had a really good first year. She was on the all-rookie team on last year, as a rookie. So, and I know that this year, her second season, should have been like a breakout season for her, but it just never worked out that way. I do know that she got the injury when she played overseas. When she came back with the injury, she came back early from overseas because of the foot injury. So that speaks a little bit to that, as far as playing overseas and getting hurt and everything. So I don't know the extent. Obviously, it must have been pretty serious to have surgery. I don't know exactly what is wrong with her foot. It said 6 months is what they're saying for her to come back. I hope that she comes back healthy and hold, because she's a pretty good player.
Yeah, no, she's really good, and I think she would have been quite the force for the Wings. Like you said, would have been a breakout season in her second year. I think that breakout is still coming. The one thing that worries me, because they say this in the NBA, feet on big men, when it gets injured, it's a problem, and it could be the same for the women. Yeah. Depending on how serious the injury was, 6 months is a good time frame. Unfortunately, she's missing a chance to make her good money overseas, but she'll be back in time for the WNBA season. Yeah. She has been able to learn and understand Agler's system without physically playing. That's so true. She'll be there as far as like mental preparation, but getting her back physically, I know it's going to be a challenge, but the window that she has, it's more than enough time for her to make that progress and get integrated. And I think we'll see that breakout season next season.
I definitely hope so, because she's also a good person as well, and you want to see her succeed. Also at the game, then, speaking of injuries, Mariah Jefferson was back at Arlington again. At Saturday night's game with the Mystics, and so she's coming around a little bit more. Again, Agler has said that she's a go for the new season. She'll be in training camp and all of that. So, and he mentioned the other night, he said people have forgotten about her because she has been injured the past couple of seasons. But he said that, she's a pretty good player. She was second in voting to Rookie of the Year the year before, 2016. Yeah. And so she's a pretty good player, who has been hampered by injuries, but she should be a full go. So,
but we'll get more into the future on next week's podcast when we wrap up the season. Yes. But looking forward to this weekend's games. We have... The Wings are currently on the road at the time of recording. They're preparing for the Sun. But on Friday, they will be having a rematch against the Washington Mystics in Washington. Yes. Now, we know that the Wings have had their struggles on the road. And in this last game, Washington only had 8 players active. Right. So, will Aerial Powers be back?
Right. She missed her only time in Dallas this year, Saturday night, when she didn't play.
I know the fans were probably looking forward to her return. Yeah. But what do you think they're going to look like?
The Wings have had, like you said, their struggles on the road, but they surprised the Chicago Sky, who were in the playoffs last week when they beat them. And, in Chicago for only their second road win of the year. But hey, like Glory said, they're looking to spoil some things. They don't have anything to lose right now, so I wouldn't count the Wings out.
No, don't do it. Let's take a listen to what Glory had to say.
Know that we've been eliminated at this point for playoffs, but we're still competitors, right? At the end of the day, and we come in here every day. It's our job, it's our job to come in here and do this and compete. So we have a game. We still have to show out for our fans and the people that come support us every day. So we're not just going to roll over and let people beat us just because we can't make it into playoffs. We still want to challenge them and try to mess it up for some people. That's what we're trying to do. So at this point, we're here to play hard and give it our all every single day.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I love that the team is not giving up. I love that. You see it all the time in sports, though. Right. When they find out, there's no future, we're not in the playoffs. We just going la-di-da through these games. Not the Wings, okay? No. The Mystics and the Storm can not take the Wings lightly. They are coming at you. They're ready to compete. Right. They're ready to mix things up. Regardless, they still have a great defensive identity. You still have players growing within Agler's system in their different positions. So Friday night is going to be interesting.
Most definitely.
And so will the final game on Sunday.
Right, Fan Appreciation Day.
Yes, fans, make sure y'all get out there. I'm going to give y'all a code. Thank you, 19 is the code for discounted tickets, all right?
Wow, did you hear that?
Thank you, 19. Make sure you guys hop on, use that code. I want to see y'all at this game. Say what's up. You can find me and Dorothy in the different media sections. There will also be a town hall with the new commissioner, Kathleen Engelberg.
She will be in town.
Yeah, so just make sure y'all come out. It's going to be big status, but also make sure you're early because it is also the same day as the Cowboys home opener. Arlington is going to be wild, but it's going to get crazy.
And it's an afternoon game at that. Yes. It's at 3 o'clock, too.
Yeah. All right, so make sure you guys catch that final game. It'll be your final look at the Dallas Wings on September 8th against the Seattle Storm. Like I said, the code is ThankYou19, and I want to see you guys at the game. So let's talk about this playoff picture. The race is still a little bit tight, but things are getting set, and the Wings still have a way of affecting it with these final couple games against the Mystics and the Storm. Things can get pretty mixed up because the race is so tight. But let's focus on these postseason awards. We've already talked about Rookie of the Year. Who is your MVP?
I started out the season saying Jonquel Jones.
Okay. You still feel that way? You weighing in a little bit?
And in a way, but then Elena Del Don, she's just come on like gangbusters, pretty much sort of out of nowhere, and has sewn up the award, I think. Has sewn up the award. Don't mind us over here. I was with Jonquel, and I'm gonna go ahead and stay with her. But I think Elena Del Don has pretty much wrapped it up with her play for Washington and has just propelled them, straight into the number one, team. So.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. Like, masked EDD has been balling. And I figured it will kind of be that way as long as she stayed healthy. And it's been great to see. I'm glad that she stayed healthy. Hopefully we can see the same thing continue through the playoffs.
Yeah.
If she hadn't gotten hurt, would Seattle have won the championship last year?
Interesting. That's a good question. Probably not. Never know.
Yeah, well, we
never know.
But
this is definitely a redemption season for Alina. Don't mind us over here, guys. We are battling a fly. Y'all ever seen a fly get in your way?
All right, so who would be your defensive player of the year?
Oh, man. Latasha Howard? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, no, Natasha's been pretty much a beast in the middle.
Yeah,
she's leading the league in steals.
Yeah, who do you think?
Yeah, I'd probably roll with Howard. She's been pretty dominant in there. What about your sixth woman?
Oh gosh, I was gonna say my most improved would be Danica, but then I would also probably add her for sixth woman as well. Odyssey Sims has been doing a really great job as well, as far as being in the conversation of most improved. Even though you said sixth woman, but I jumped onto the most improved right quick.
Yeah, no, if you had the Erica as both.
She switched teams, and went from the Sparks to the
Lynx.
And she's just been a different player almost. Yeah. So as far as most improved, I think she's a big reason why they got into the playoffs, along with Sylvia, of course, and Nafisia. So for most improved, I would say Odyssey. I don't know about sixth woman. What do you think?
Sixth woman, I'd have to go with.
I hadn't given a thought to it.
Yeah, no, De'Erica Hamby.
Okay.
Like I said, she could have go for both.
Right.
Sixth woman and most improved. What is it about these Wings going off to different teams and being happier and
my gosh,
more exciting and
Ariel and Odyssey?
Yeah, they just moved on and Liz, everybody just doing good. But hey, whatever. Dallas the home base to where you get that springboard to a better future.
Yeah, it's like it sometimes, sometimes different atmospheres just, work better for different people. So
yeah, that's true. All right, so let's talk about these awards in the sense of just the Dallas Wings. So we've talked about Enrique extensively.
Yes.
If this was just if these postseason awards were just for the Dallas Wings, would Enrique be MVP?
She would be the MVP.
And Rookie of the Year?
She would be the MVP and Rookie of the Year. She would rival. No, she wouldn't. I would say MVP Enrique. Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Right.
My defensive player of the year, I would say Kayla.
Of course. It sucks that she got hurt because it kind of just took out the running a little bit. But definitely, as a Wings award, it would be Kayla.
Man.
What about sixth
Most improved?
Oh, most improved.
Alicia Gray.
Yeah? Yeah. quite the bounce back.
Come out of
from the little bit of a sophomore slump. But
exactly.
It's like, and she's been kind of like that silent assassin again.
Much so with the steals. I mean, it's like all of a sudden she passes by you and then she has the ball. You know, she's the steals, the assists. She scrambles. She's diving on the court, sliding across the. So yeah, she's playing real hard this year.
Yeah.
So I would say her for most improved.
Now, 6 women. I mean, we only had like 8 to 9 players
right
available. So, who would be 6 women? Like, who's coming off the bench and making that difference, or who's in that rotation making a difference?
Maybe Kayla Davis.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. Especially with her having to shift into PG as well
Toward the end, especially.
Yeah, most definitely.
What do you think?
No, I'd agree with Davis. I think, you know, if Anigwe would have had a little more time with the team, it would have been her. If Plaisance was still here in the starting lineup, it probably would have more been like maybe Harrison.
I was gonna say, Izzy. Oh my gosh,
because they were kind of going back and forth with in the starting lineup. So, but I think Isabel could be in the running for our most improved as well.
I think so too. Yeah, she's done great coming off of her injuries and from a different team. So yeah, most definitely.
It just sucks that the Wings aren't in the playoff picture, and that, you know, a lot more of our players aren't considered for most of these awards just based off of wins and losses.
Right.
But looking at the playoff picture, like, it's going to come down to the end to determine the final seedings. But right now we have the Sky, the Lynx, the Storm, and the Mercury, who will all be into first round elimination or first round or second round elimination games. So
single elimination. Win or go home.
Yeah, win or go home. No matter the position. Either you get a bye. All right, so out of those teams, who do you see going home after one and done?
I would have to go with probably the Mercury. Depends, I don't know. It just depends upon the day. I don't know when they play. They were at 15 and 16 right now, and I don't know. I mean, they've played a little inconsistently, as has Seattle. I think Chicago and the Lynx will be the ones I think that will prevail.
Yeah.
But like they say in football, any given Sunday, same thing with the WNBA. At any given time, a team can, beat another team and send them home.
Yeah, facing like with the way the standings are right now, having to face the Mercury or the Storm is pretty dangerous, especially in a single elimination game. And with the way that the Sky performed when the Wings came to town, are they prepared for this playoff life? They've been trying to get in. And it's single elimination, because I doubt they'll make it into the top 4.
They had a pretty good record, though. Well, right now they're at 19 and 13. So on a couple of game winning streaks. So, again, that's what's so hard about those single elimination games. It's like anybody can just at any point rise up and win.
Right.
You know what I mean? No matter if they're worse than the other team, it's like, for this game, we won.
Yeah.
So
it makes the playoffs interesting, but still, like we were discussing this a little earlier, like, you work so hard to get to the playoffs just to be in this one and done situation. Like, I don't know why they necessarily decided to change the format. I don't know if it was just to keep the season within a certain window, but what's wrong with having that 3-game series? What's wrong with that? Because you can knock it out in 2 games. It's just essentially one extra game.
Exactly. But to come in and know this is it, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. It's a good reward for those that, make it to the top, but that's so hard to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, you shouldn't be faced with single elimination in the playoffs. I wonder if
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it is. It's so much pressure. And I think that's kind of how these teams crack. Like with the Sun being knocked out.
Right.
Like, they were really good team. Just had one bad game.
But that one bad game sent them home for the season.
And that was it. It's something. So I wonder if we'll ever go back to the former format. But if not, it's just, it's something that teams are going to have to get used to. All right, so I work from home, guys, and I generally have the sports shows on in the background. And today, I was just thinking, like, say we did live in a world where, you know, the coverage was equal and you had analysis like different sports analysts on all these different channels, you know, digging into players' lives and, you know, discussing what they do on and off the court. How do you see that? How would you see that working for WNBA players? Would they be okay with that? Like, you know, they talk about wanting more coverage and all of that. And if we got to that point, how would the women handle this type of scrutiny that the men are under?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a really, really good question because, of course, you know, we know everything about the players, NFL, NBA, you know, on all of these sports talk shows, you know, with analysts giving their takes about their lives and things that they do on the weekends and, you know, that affect them playing, you know, on the court or on the field. If that scrutiny was given to the women of the WNBA, especially in this Me Too movement and with all the whole, you know, women power and uplifting our women and everything, I don't know that would go too well, that would go over too well. I don't know. Maybe some teams would say no comment, you know, more often than not. Maybe they would hold their players from, you know, commenting on things or from giving their take or from maybe even using a lot of social media, you know, to respond to. Sometimes you have the players responding to social media, you know, saying, you know, well, that's not true and that didn't happen or whatever. So I don't really know. I'm not sure how it would go. Yeah. What do you think? I don't know.
You know, I'd like to see it. I'd like to live in a world where I could turn on ESPN or ESPNW. Hello, ESPN.
Yeah.
Just to turn it on and see things like First Take for women's sports. But you're right. There comes, you know, the analysts aren't necessarily disrespectful when they talk about the players, but they do get pretty close to that line. And when you're talking about women in that, you know, in those different aspects, like it could get pretty dangerous. But when you have like domestic violence issues, like we've had a couple this season, like what would that look like on the national stage? Like, is that something that, you know, the WNBA would necessarily be able to handle? It was just something that I was thinking about,
but you can't not cover it because it's women involved,
right?
You know, you can't do that. So I
don't know. I just, you know, I like to be in a world where I could just turn on and listen, but at the same time, I'd be getting pretty pissed, I guess, as far as, you know, other fans do when, you know, these analysts, people that don't play sports or haven't been through it, you know, they know the game, but they haven't experienced it. You know, they dig into these, like they get into them. Like, for example, when they were talking about the U.S. team, they came close with Turkey, the men, on the FIBA championship, and they're just saying they're just talking straight trash about these dudes, and they're talented. They're talented, but they're calling them like the junior varsity of the NBA and things like that. And it's just like, oh man, seeing that about the women, because they are literally the best of the best.
They
like
are the top of their profession.
It would just be a little different.
But it's something to think about because, you know, we talk about the equal pay or, you know, and equal coverage may mean equal coverage, which means that, you know, more personal things will come out about players, you know, if they're afforded that kind of coverage. If they want the same kind of coverage as the players, you know, the male players receive, then there may be more personal things coming out, and people may not like that. So.
See, and that's just something to think about. Like, you can't say, "Oh, you can't get your panties in a bunch." Talking about a female player, you don't want to bring in, you know, motherhood when some of these analysts might bring in fatherhood. Like, it's a thin line. Yeah, it's a fine line. You have to be careful. Yeah, you know, because it's still men and women. You know, even though you want athletes to, you know, the athletes say that I'm just an athlete. You know. Not necessarily a male or female athlete, but there are still those gender differences that are there that you have to respect. Yeah, but then on the positive side too, like we had that more extensive coverage, we could find out about the good things that the players are doing as well. So I just like to see it one day. All right, so you're listening to the Soaring Wings Show on the W-insidr Podcast Network. We'd like to thank you for tuning in this week. Dorothy, I'm so glad you came back, girl, because last week was a little rough. You know, it's sad that the season's winding down. We only have one more show for you guys. But again, Arie, at WNBA Love on Twitter, at WNBA_Love on Instagram.
And I'm Dorothy J. Gentry on Twitter and on Instagram.
So just make sure you guys give us your thoughts on today's show. I'd really like to hear you guys' feedback on the final topic as in regards to, you know, the equal coverage that could be online or on television as far as the WNBA goes and women's sports in general. So thanks again for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
Thank you.
This is Sarika Ogunbowale, and you're listening to the Soaring Wings Show.